Aloha, Kristi. Oh, I,
Aloha.
thank you. I just can't believe that I'm talking with the Olympic gold medalist, mega superstar, Kristi Yamaguchi. How are you doing? You look,
Uh,
you look
doing
well, and
fine. Yeah, doing fine, considering the circumstances and,
yeah, yeah,
looking forward to seeing people in person again someday, but, this will do.
yeah. Hopefully, it's coming up soon. So, I grew up rooting for you. I was in such awe and inspired by this Japanese American representing the US at the Olympics. And you really became the American sweetheart. I'm sure you've been told that many times. But you are credited for inspiring a long line of US women's figure skaters. And after the Olympics, even, you've been continuously been in the public eye with illustrious experiences on film and TV, Dancing with the Stars, champion, best-selling children's books, and amongst many other things, not to mention your big nonprofit, Always Dream. So I want to talk to you about and mother of two children, and just how do you? I wonder how you do it all, but and then I even know that you made exercise video, and
Uh,
I think anybody would agree you haven't changed since the
Oh,
Olympics. Do
oh
you have
no.
any secrets to that? Because you look exactly the same in those days.
Oh, thank you. No, I think it's just, enjoying life and just,
Oh,
being grateful and taking one day at a time. But yeah, I
oh,
mean, I would like to keep an active lifestyle as much as possible. And I think that helps with,
okay.
you
Mm.
know, being positive and having the energy and everything.
Yes, yes, certainly emanate that positive feelings and aura, I might say. But maybe we start by saying it's been 29 years since the gold medal days, and I wonder what are your most cherished memories that you have regarding the Olympic experience?
Oh, there's so many vivid memories from that experience. Basically living the dream I had since a child, and 14 years in the making as far as training and focus and competitions and qualifying. So really, just making the team was the biggest honor to represent my country. And I probably one of the most fond memories I have was walking in with all of the other Team USA athletes during the opening ceremonies. And I think it's cliche and a bit, most Olympians will say this, but it truly is just an awe-inspiring moment. And in a way, you feel so small as just this lone figure skater, you know ice skating and having fun, but then you're with hundreds of other athletes who are at the top of their game in all these other sports. And it's they all have their own journeys and stories, so it's so incredible to meet them and march in and feel like you're part of the same team with them. And just a proud moment to represent our country as well.
Wow, but yeah, I think you meant the team spirit, right? Being part of a big team overall, but all the years of training and all that, right? Did it just kind of disappear behind you and you didn't think about it, but just living in that moment at that time?
Pretty much. But I think in some ways, in order to be in that moment and to have confidence in that moment, I did
Mhm.
really look back on my preparation and the training and kept reminding myself that, okay, you're ready. Like, you've done all that you could have done. You worked hard, and you know trying, maybe playing the mental game of not leaving any doubt in my mind, and just
Ah,
sweep that
yes.
aside and saying like, okay, you're ready, this is the time, and just go out there and do it. So yeah, there is a lot to say about living in that moment and enjoying it, but then also, knowing that you giving yourself the confidence too, that you've
Right.
earned it, and you're ready.
Right, and all the training and commitment That's such inspiration to many. That yeah, thank you for just keep that story going. And in the 1992 Winter Olympics, it's a little known story, but all five gold medals were won by females. Um, and some say it started the women's sports movement. Can you comment on this? Is that is that your
Yeah, yeah, it's always fun when this little tidbit fact comes out every now and then. And at the time in 1992, we had an incredible strong showing as Team USA, but it was, an extra little bit like, girl power here, because it was, Bonnie Blair won 2 gold medals, Dinah Weinbrecht, Kathy Turner, and myself. So we really created a bond, and we saw each other quite a bit, that next year at Olympic events and celebrations, and really kind of bonded in a way that was like a sisterhood of like, yeah, we led the team to the gold medals. And yeah, so it was cool, and it's fun to think that maybe that inspired and helped raise that level of awareness of women's sports, and the importance of it, and the representation they were seeing, so that I think the doors were already wide open for us, and we were able to at that point benefit and reap the rewards of the opportunities we were given.
Yes, but how empowering, right? And then the uh just you all seize the moment, and wow, look at women's sports now and the athletes and everything. It's just really so important to set up that history and movement. So yeah, that's just great. So but now we're talking about the current Olympics, right? And can you share your thoughts on the Tokyo Summer Olympics? And do you think they will in fact happen? What do you think?
I
What's
don't,
your prediction?
yeah, I mean, I'm thinking they will happen, and I'm really, really, as an Olympian, hoping that they do happen. And
Um,
I know that it's been just an incredibly challenging road for these Olympians preparing. Not only with their training interrupted and not having the access they typically do, maybe to
right,
the facilities they need to train properly, but then to have it put on hold for an entire year. I mean, really, so much planning, and every week, every month is planned to lead to that pinnacle of that Olympic moment.
right,
So to have it delayed, and then for a full year is a big deal, mentally, emotionally, financially. So I think we want to see these athletes triumph, and we want to be able to cheer them on to their Olympic glory. That's so overdue. And I think we need it as a world too. I mean, this entire world has gone through in the last year is just, I mean, it's the overused word of the year, unprecedented. But
mhm,
really, I think to be able to come together and celebrate greatness, um, as a world, it would mean a lot. And I think it would also, in a way, show the strength that, we have as human race, and that we can persevere and go on, and the athletes will inspire us that way.
yes, because of course Olympic represents, global collaboration, and
Mhm.
what a sight it would be to see that it's not very far away anymore, right? That if it does come together. So I
Yeah.
yeah, but
Well, you hope that they do it safely, right? I mean, you want it to
yeah,
be,
that's true.
if it
That
can
is
be done safely. I doubt that there will be, very many fans to be allowed, and which
mm,
is a shame. I don't think it'll have that
yeah,
same grand Olympic, feel as far as the fans participating. But with media coverage, hopefully, we could still cheer them on in some way.
yes, yes. But throughout the year, I know you've been speaking out and offering moral support to these athletes. Have you heard inspiring stories like how some of them are continuing, or what is being done to help support them during this hard time?
Yes, I mean, I think I kind of follow some athletes, and obviously, um, closer to more Winter Olympians, but I see that they're continuing on with their training and a lot of positive attitudes about, still having that opportunity and still fighting and working towards that opportunity of, competing at the games. So, again, sometimes adversity creates, tighter, bonds and everything. And I think you see that these athletes have already gone through that. So, I think the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee has been great at supporting their athletes and trying to get their stories told and to gain support for them, especially with their additional training that they need to do. So resources have been out there, and hopefully it's been a help to these athletes.
Okay, yeah. But thank you for that too. And maybe we switch the subject a little bit. As I mentioned, you are a best-selling children's author. You became, the New York Times best-selling author, and you've written 3 books, and all have a positive message for kids. Can you tell me some of the backstory to some of these themes of your books?
Sure. Yeah, it was just a joy to be able to write these books, especially during the time our kids were, about 4 and 6. And,
Mm,
we were reading to them constantly every night, and to
mhm,
have a, personalized story almost for them was really neat. So they really inspired, I think, that journey of mine to go into children's author. And, I did want a positive message that not just my daughters, but other kids out there can take away. And, the first book, Dream Big Little Pig, is a slight, borrows a little bit from my own life. It isn't totally autobiography, but, I did try a lot of different things before I found my love of skating. And so Poppy the Pig kind of goes through the same thing. She tries
mhm,
and fails and finally finds skating. And,
mhm,
even though there are challenges,
mhm.
she perseveres and persists. And, her dreams come true as far as, finding a passion for something she loves.
Mm,
So that's kind of the first book, is just never giving up on your dreams, and be persistent.
mhm.
The second book's called It's a Big World, Little Pig. And on this one, Poppy the Pig travels um, far away and to an international competition, kind of, you know, like the Olympics, and meets athletes from all over the world, and realizes that, hey, we come from different countries in different parts of the world, but in the end, we're a lot more alike than we are different. And it's kind of about embracing differences, and finding common things that you enjoy and love, and um, yeah, in making friends. And the third book, Care's Kindness, is very much like the title speaks. It's about spreading kindness. And I think kids can't hear it enough or learn it early enough that there's just many different kinds of um, acts of kindness that they can do to show that they're a good friend or good sibling. And it's just a matter of helping them out in a time of need. And the kindness kind of passes full circle around a group of friends, started by Kara the cat, and it comes full circle back to her. So it's kind of passing it on, and then you do see it come back to you at some point.
Really awesome, really. Is there a 4th book coming?
There, that's been in the works for years, like 3 years now. Yeah, I mean, I really need to just buckle down and sit down, because I do want to continue writing books, and I have a solid concept for this fourth one. And
Oh,
I really it's just so hard that you want it so perfect in a certain way, and it's daunting to kind of just start it.
But we're waiting for it, and it just shows your commitment to children and books and reading. And so I want to ask about your Always Dream Foundation, and can you just tell me what has been the motivation and your mission?
Yes, absolutely. So we are actually celebrating our 25th anniversary this year with Always Dream, and it's hard to believe, but it's always been something that, after the Olympics, really having my eyes open to the power of giving back and the rewards and everything that comes along with, um, making a difference, a positive difference in someone's life, and particularly wanting to focus on children. For the first 15 plus years, we focused on underserved children and providing specific items that smaller organizations needed. And about 2011, when I first became published Dream Big Little Pig, my first book,
Mhm.
early literacy came to mind. And I think seeing the importance of, reading to your child, like we had the opportunity to do to our daughters, and seeing the positive effects that it had on, their comprehension, the vocabulary, the readiness at starting school, was pretty profound. And I was really shocked at how 60% of low income families have no books in the home. And
Mhm.
that's so shocking to hear, because how are those kids
Mhm.
going to develop that love of books, that love of reading? And so I wanted to really put a book in every child's hand,
Mhm.
and give them the resources, the tools, and the opportunity that they could find success as well. And it's as simple as just reading to your child. And so our program not only provides access to books, and we do that digitally, so they have a wide range and choice of hundreds to thousands of books, but we also pair it with family engagement support. So really helping the parents, which of course in this time of pandemic, we've seen how at-home learning has been, where it's at. And helping these parents to understand their role and what they could do to help develop a consistent reading routine at home with their child. So that's really our connection. Even though kids were home, and when the distance learning started, our program was really home based already. So the
Mhm.
only change we really had to implement was the trainings with the families weren't in person anymore. They, everything became virtual.
Mhm.
But other than that, being in the home environment and helping the families, has been more relevant than ever. So we're plowing forward, and even in this difficult time, we're expanding and looking at more schools and students to serve.
That's incredible because I did meet you before, and you told me about it and everything, and it just so important. And it just, especially as you say, during this COVID period, wow, what spot on, right? How you could help these families. And in Hawaii, where I live, it is really a problem, and literacy is something that we really struggle with here. And we're the Hawaii is really indebted to you for all your efforts. And in fact, I wanted to ask what you are doing in Hawaii, because you come here several times and things, and what are your efforts here in Hawaii?
Yeah, so we have our reading program, which targets kindergarten age classrooms. And we have our first iteration in 7 schools on Oahu. And then the new 2.0 version, which is kind of the upgraded version, is currently in 5 schools on Oahu. And it's been, incredible. We're on the windward side and in Kalihi Valley, and we're also looking probably next school year, 2022 school year, to expand into outer islands. because we just know and we see the need out there, and having the resources to be able to get these books and support to the families. But yeah, we feel like we're just getting started in Hawaii, and we look forward to continue our expansion and get these books. And I think one of the really cool things is just um, the culture in Hawaii, and really diving into that as well. We have seen from families that even books in Native Hawaiian language is very important to them. So we've been able to, partner with Kamehameha Publishing and able to get books in Hawaiian language to the students that we're serving. So a combination of the ebooks and hardcover books being brought into their homes, and some of them in the Hawaiian language.
That's incredible, seriously. So, and then also, I think you were involved with loaning a lot of iPads to family. Is that part of your program?
Yeah, so one of the important pieces is we also, the program is about 21st century technology, and we are one-to-one with a tablet for the children. We can't quite afford iPads, but they are digital
Okay,
tablets that
tablets.
have, yeah, that have an app
Mhm.
for the digital library that the families access to get the books.
Right.
So, and some of our families, a lot of them don't have access to Wi-Fi. So we do provide um, data-driven tablets, so they still can access the books no matter where they are, and as well as the Wi-Fi ones as well. So it is it's sometimes nerve-wracking to incorporate the technology, but it really helps us understand how the families are doing. We can access, on the back end, what books the kids are reading, how many minutes they've spent on the books, maybe what families aren't quite reading as much as we want, and we're able to reach out to them and have a protocol of questions and answers that we can go through with the families in order to help you know get their reading minutes up again.
Great. And how can people get involved and help support your foundation?
Well, there's always information on our newly designed website, alwaysdream.org. And, this explains our program, our theory of change, and, the impact that we're making on the families. And of course, if you want to follow us and see what we are up to as far as fundraising events and donations, that information is all there too.
Great. Yes, I encourage everyone to do that. And I also admire your consistent representation for the Japanese American community. I think this is really important when Asian Americans are still continuing to find their voice in the U.S. And you were part of a Goodwill mission following the tragic 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. It was a beautiful example of from coming from the Japanese American community and linking with the US-Japan relations. Can you share this experience that you had?
Yes, absolutely. It was an honor to be part of the Goodwill Mission. And it was a delegation of people from San Francisco, Hawaii, actually Manoa DNA, the music group, and their family
Mhm,
was on that trip with us.
mhm.
And, it was really soon after the tsunami had devastated the parts of Japan, and then obviously the nuclear fallout and everything. And so we wanted to reach out and really lend our support and our, just letting them know that we're there for them. So we made a trip, started in Tokyo, but then we also obviously went to the Tohoku region and started in Iwaki City, which is actually where a lot of the residents of Fukushima that were dealing with the nuclear fallout were being relocated to. So I think we were like the first international delegation to actually visit that region. And,
Wow.
in a lot of ways, it was just to show people that it's safe to come here now. Like,
Mm,
please
mhm,
don't stay away, and they need your support.
mhm.
That area in particular relied on tourism. So, it was just a show of support for the industry, and that it was safe to go. But it was devastating. We brought school supplies for some of the, you know, uh, like YMCA programs that were in the Tohoku region, and they were low on art supplies because, they really felt that was an outlet for the kids emotionally to express themselves. That's how they were able to deal with what was going on. And, visiting some of those devastated areas, it was just, yeah,
Wow.
I mean, it was heavy, but it was incredible also to see the resilience there as well, and cooperation, and
Wow.
you know, i- in the hope. So I know there's probably still lots of work to be done to rebuild, but
Mhm.
um, it was an honor to be there, and I know um, the Japanese Cultural Center of Northern California, which is who sponsored the mission,
Mhm.
continues to be in touch and support their efforts.
Great, great. But Chrissy, this is, that is just an example of your endless compassion that you show the
Mhm.
world, and we really appreciate that all. And it's I think your commitment that from the Olympic days, and plus all these what did we say, 29 years
Yeah.
of just being out there, and the way you talk about your foundation, your face radiates and things. And so that's what you just got to continue what you're doing, and we all appreciate it so much, so much. But I want to thank you very much for joining me for today, and yeah, spending some time catching up and answering some questions that I have.
No,
But
oh, absolutely. It's my honor. And I feel, the mutual respect going back at you, and
oh
all
gosh,
you
thank
do to really bring front and center the stories of, minorities and Asian Americans and their
you.
stories. And I think it's so important to tell,
Mhm.
and to showcase. And I think that your talent has been immense and used in an incredible way to really tell those stories, and the heroes out there. So thank you
Oh,
for.
thank you so much for coming from you. But so with that, I hope to see you in Hawaii soon. And thank you once again for all that you do. It's so special. But
Absolutely. Thank you.
take care. Take care of yourself. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.